Good. So on the Zoom live we were just in with our masterclass members, we called a long on KODK above 1185, took a partial at 1207 and again at 1221, and I've set the rest for a break even stop. And so I'm just sharing my screen here in the background while we'll be discussing, just to keep an eye on it. All right, so I'll be back in 2 minutes and then we can get rolling. All right, so we have 100 people that are online right now. So that's a good start. I'm going to start at exactly 12:30. All right, so just a disclaimer before we begin. Well, first off, nice to meet you. My name is Bag Collector. My name is also Yanni, my real name. I might change it to Bags though someday, who knows? But I wanted to make a little disclaimer here and let you guys know that this is not a formal meeting. I don't have exact topics planned. I want you to feel like we're together at a restaurant or wherever you can imagine, and we're talking about trading. And I know there's a lot of people here who are interested in becoming a successful trader. We have people here from all walks of the trading life cycle. We have people who are just starting right now. We have people who have been trading for 10 years, I imagine, already. So I want to have a open discussion with all of you and take your questions and just help you out and give you my advice on how to move forward in your trading career based on where you're at. So I'm going to be taking questions. First, I'm going to talk about how I started trading, my own life story as a trader, and then later on in the webinar we can answer some of your questions and see if we can help you out. Remember, this is not a webinar where I'm going to be sharing the strategies that we're using and going into detail about what strategies those are. Those strategies are in the masterclass. So if you want to take part and learn those strategies, then you just have to sign up and join us, and you're going to have a multitude of tools to your disposal so you can be a successful trader. All right, so first let me start by asking you guys, where are you from? I'd love to see where people are listening from in the world. So go ahead and share. Just type out where you're listening from. Be interesting to see. Ukraine, we have Greece, Hungary, Kazakhstan, Spain, New York, Panama, beautiful. Montreal, India, Norway, Netherlands, nice. Singapore. Wow. So we have people all over the world here. That's fantastic. And that's the beauty of trading, is that you can be anywhere in the world and take advantage of the opportunities that are given to us by the market. Miami, nice. That's where I was brought up. Chile. Very cool. All right. So you all, of course, I imagine you want to be successful traders, right? You want to do trading for a living. Why is that? You have to find your reason. You have to find what it is that makes you want to be a trader, why you got into this industry, right? So for me, it's one of the main things for me and why I wanted to become a trader is because you're your own boss, right? So you determine your life. You have freedom of movement, freedom to do whatever it is that you want to do. You define the limitations and you're in control of your everyday living, right? So you have flexibility, and that's a beautiful thing because we've got one life on this planet, and so you want to make the most of it and live it in a way that where you're in control, right? So for me, that's one of the main reasons of being a trader. It's that flexibility. It's that sense of control over your life, and as well, you have infinite potential. There is no ceiling when it comes to trading. You can make 10,000 a day, you can make 100,000 a day, as stock block has shown us. You could make 500,000 in a day. There are people who make $1 million per day. So there really is no ceiling, right? And it's up to you and the limitations that you have in your mind that are going to determine where you go as a trader. And so that potential for infinite success is what really draws a lot of people into this industry. And of course, that's why it's the most difficult, because the rewards are so great, and everything worth having in life takes a lot of effort and work. So I'm going to go ahead and explain, how I started trading, how I got into it. For me, I was working with my family business, and I started doing that from 20 years old. Right now, I'm 31. So for the better amount of 9 or so years, I was working with the business. That business, I didn't enjoy it. I hated my job. Like a lot of people here hate their job, and they don't like their boss. They don't like anything about it. And they want to, take control of their life and find something else, something that they enjoy doing. And so I was constantly searching for my passion in general in life. I was looking for, something that I can do, something I have passion in, and make the most out of it and be great at it. So I tried different things, acting. I tried music production. I was into that. I tried all sorts of things, but you notice in life, what you find is that once you find what you're great at, what your passion is, how do you know that you found it? You know that you found it because the hours pass by in the day while you're working at it, and you don't realize that time has passed. You're sitting at your desk or wherever it is that you're doing what you love to do, and time just flies, right? And you don't realize that it's flying. That's how you know that you found your thing. You found what you love doing. And for me, it was trading. When I discovered this whole concept of trading and charts, I found that I would sit at a desk and I would be on my screen for 15, 16, 17 hours, and I didn't even realize that time had passed. And then the next day I would do it again. And never in life had I had that, where you found something and you're working at it for so long. And that's how you know that you found your thing, right? So that's how I realized that I love trading, and I'm going to pursue this, and I'm going to try to be as great as I possibly can. And so I wanted that independence in life in general, get away from a day-to-day job that I don't enjoy doing. And so I found trading. It actually happened through a pop-up ad of Timothy Sykes. A lot of you know this character. So he's the first exposure that I had to the market. It was seeing a pop-up ad of this guy. And he was very persuasive about how, you can make a lot of money through this. And the way he was talking, it really drew me in. And so I decided, I'm going to learn this thing. I'm going to sit here on charts as long as I possibly can until I crack the code, right? So about 4.5 years or so ago, that journey began. And I decided I'm going to sit in front of my computer 12 to 15 hours per day until I crack the code by just staring at charts and looking at price action, how it's moving. Mind you, I didn't know anything about the stock market. I didn't know what candlesticks were, what a trend line is, support, resistance. I didn't know anything. I just decided that I'm going to stare at charts until I figure it out. Now, my logic at the time was that if there really is a truth out there in regards to price action, if there really is a code, let's say, that you can crack the market, it's not going to be available on YouTube. It's not going to be on Google because this is infinite wealth potential, right? Why would that be available to everybody? So I decided that it's not out there, the truth. I'm going to have to find it myself. And so that's how I ended up spending 3.5 or so years just nonstop on charts, trying to figure this out on my own, like a lot of you are right now. I can imagine, you're trying to do this on your own. When I was first starting, I started with penny stocks. And I remember at the time, I was definitely not making money, but I was trying to. And I remember sending a message on Instagram 3.5 years ago to Stocklaw on Instagram. And I was asking, for help. Hey, can you help me out? Oh, I see you're from Greece. I'm from Greece too, And he suggested to me that I join the masterclass and that it's really going to give me a supernova learning curve, right? So I decided, I was stubborn at the time, and I said, no, it's okay. I'm not going to do it. I'll just figure it out on my own, but thanks. Oh, it's too expensive, right? That's what everybody says. They think they're going to figure it out on their own. Well, long story short, 3.5 years passed and I still had not reached consistency. I still had not been able to be profitable more than 2 days or 3 days in a row. It just wasn't happening. It wasn't possible. And so I decided 3.5 years later, I'm going to give this a shot. I see that Stocklock is making 1,000 per day. At the time, he was making 1,000 per day. Now it's in the 7 figures. It's crazy, making 10, 40,000 in a day. But at the time, I saw that he was doing so well daily for years. And you can see this track record on his Instagram. You can see it here in the chat on the alerts. You can see the calls that he's putting out. And I wanted to see what's behind the curtains. What's really going on here. I want to know what the secret sauce is. Right? I'm sure a lot of people here are curious. What is this secret sauce? What is it that's allowing him to be successful daily? And all of these people talking about the masterclass strategies, what's really going on? So I decided I'll give it a chance. I actually had the pleasure of being in Cyprus at the time, and we arranged that I would go for a coffee with Stocklock because I was bugging him for years, on Instagram, like, can you help me out, please? I love this so much. This is my passion. I really want to make this work. And so we agreed to go for a coffee, and we did. And for me, it was a surreal experience. It's like meeting someone's favorite rock star. That's how it was for me. And so, we met, we talked about how I was doing, and he told me about the masterclass and what it can do for me, and that I'll find consistency with the setups. And I decided I'm going to take the leap of faith. I'm going to accept that I need help from outside, that I can't do this completely alone, right? I had never watched any videos, read any books, taken any courses, because again, I didn't believe that the answer is out there. It's going to have to come from me, right? And so I spent 3.5 years searching. And after joining the masterclass, everything completely changed for me. I saw things that I was shocked that I hadn't seen before, that I hadn't realized just how clear and easy to see this is, right? And so after about a week or so, or 2 weeks of going through the strategies, studying them day in, day out, every minute of the day I was watching these videos. After a few weeks, I found that I was able to start making calls on my own. I was starting to put out alerts in the general chat where you guys are right now. I was on a demo, I was on paper trading, and I had made a deal, and everybody knew about this at the time, that once I reach 40 days green in a row on a demo, and obviously demo, it's easier because you don't have the psychological challenges. But anyway, I digress. My deal was 40 days in a row green, doing these strategies on my demo account, and I'm going to a funded account. I'm going to start trading real funds again. And I hit 37 days green in a row, trading the strategies. And at that point, I just decided I'm going to get it. I don't need to do it for 2 more days. I'm going to jump in, get an account, and start rolling. And I did. And since that point, I found the consistency that we're all looking for as traders, because these strategies are so clear cut. You cannot confuse them. It's not up to interpretation. There's no assuming, there's no guessing. It's clear cut. Here's the entry. Here's the setup you're looking for. That's where your stop loss is going to be. That's where your target's going to be. You want to see 1, 2, 3 things aligning. Here's the criteria for each setup. It's super simple once you actually study it and you start watching the market and you realize that these opportunities are everywhere. So ever since I've been consistent, and after seeing that consistency, of course, Stock Block, he upgraded me to admin, and here we are a year later, and I'm alerting side by side with him. Now, the thing about trading is that we all think that we are professionals, even though we're not. So 2 or 3 years ago, I thought that I had it figured out. I thought that I don't need any help from anybody else, and that, I can just do this. And that's the difficulty with trading, is that the barriers to entry are so small. Anybody with a little bit of money and an internet connection can join the game, right? Start to trade. All you need are account details, your ID, and you can open up a platform and start trading with the big boys, right? And so the barriers to entry are like zero. So anybody can just join in and do it. And that's the really difficult thing, is because that gives a sense of illusion and delusion that, you know what you're doing, but you really don't. And just like in any profession, if you want to be a doctor, if you want to be a pilot, you have to get some kind of education. You have to get some kind of training, right? Otherwise, you don't know what you're doing. And so it's like, a lot of times I get messages from people that are saying, I love what you guys are doing. I'm going to join, but first I'm going to, build my account up, and then I'll be able to afford the education. And for me, that's like going backwards. It's like someone saying, I want to be a heart surgeon, but I can't afford medical school. And so I'm going to go to some third world country where they don't ask for my credentials and start doing heart surgery on people to raise money so that I can then go to medical school. In the process, they're going to kill about 500, 1,000 people because they don't know what they're doing, right? They're trying to figure it out along the way while they're doing heart surgery. And that's exactly what it's like in trading. So in order to, learn, you have to lose in trading. Unless you decide that, I'm not going to go through that hell. I'm not going to go through that pain of blowing account after account like I did. And I'm just going to right away learn what I need to pay attention to, what I'm supposed to wait and see. These things are incredibly easy to understand, right? These setups. They're not setups that you can find on Google or on some kind of Investopedia. It doesn't exist. It's not out there. So, I would definitely suggest to anybody who doesn't want to go through that cycle of hell of blowing account after account to consider an education. All right. And this isn't a sales pitch. It's just the reality. It's just how it is. It's facts. So, that's something that you have to decide for yourself. In trading, the reason I wasn't successful before is because I didn't have a framework. Okay, so in trading, whether it's the masterclass, whether it's some other training course out there, you need a framework. If you don't have a framework, then you're not going to be able to execute. You're not going to be able to be consistent. It's impossible. Every day you're going to come to the market doing something different. And is there any possible way to be consistent if you're doing different things all the time? If there's no order to things? It's not. It's impossible. So every day when I come to the market, I know exactly what setups I'm looking for. I know exactly what I'm going to do at 9:30. I know how long I probably have to wait until my trade that I'm looking for sets up. I know what I'm going to be doing at 12 p.m. So I have a series of events, series of setups. First I'm going to do this setup from this time to this time. After that, I'm going to do the next setup. And if that setup doesn't appear, there's no trade, right? So what I always say is that the market is composed of a lot of noise, right? 80% of the day or 70% of the day or what we see on charts is noise. And there's that 10% where it's actual opportunity for you to enter. It's like a door opening saying, come in, let me give you a bag for collection. But if you're jumping in and out of trades all the time throughout that 80% of noise, you're going to get so smacked and beat up that by the time the setup appears, you're not even going to take it because you've been so brutally beaten. All right. And that's how it is. If you're not following strategies and setups, you're just not able to be consistent. It's not going to happen. To ask a question that I see, because it's just popped up and I want to answer it. How long do you think it will take us to learn a strategy and be proficient at it? That really depends on you. So for example, for me, I had crazy passion about trading, right? So that's what I think about when I go to sleep. I dream about it. I'm thinking about it literally all the time. So once I got the strategies, I just jumped on it, right? And I gave it my all. And so for me, it took me 5 minutes to understand one of the main strategies that Stock Block uses, right? Because I have some exposure to the market. And so some things make sense a little bit easier to me. It depends on each person, right? So if you have zero experience, it might take you a few weeks. But the thing that I want to stress, because you're asking about time, is it's not so important how long something takes. What's important is, will you reach your destination of being successful? And are you willing for that to take as much time as it's supposed to take? Right? That's another problem that traders have, is that they want it fast. We all want it fast. We want that fast money to be successful right away tomorrow. But that's not going to work. It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. That's an illusion. It doesn't work that way. Right? So with anything that you want to do and excel in life, you have to put in the time. And you have to be willing to accept that it might take a year. It might take 6 months for me to start to be consistent. What it comes down to is, how badly do you want it? Right? That's the most important thing. What does trading mean to you? And how important is it to you? If it is, then time shouldn't even be an issue. It shouldn't even be on your mind. What you should be thinking is, I will do whatever it takes, no matter how much time it's going to take, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to get into why is the masterclass so expensive, $2,000. First off, we have a discounted offer and it's at 50%. But I don't want to talk about pricing. I feel like it demeans what we do. If you think it's expensive to literally learn how to consistently just pull money out of thin air, then something's wrong. There's something wrong in the thought process. Because we're here clicking buttons, pulling money out of thin air, right? And if you have the right education, you have the setups that are going to enable you to have that kind of consistency to do it daily. I think that that's priceless. I don't even think you can put a price on that, because like I said at the start of this webinar, your potential is infinite, right? The only limitation is the limitations that you have in your mind. Okay, so once you have strategies that work, that have over 80% accuracy, what it costs to get those strategies is completely irrelevant. Does that make sense? I mean, think about it. Let's just say that you're going to a marketplace and there's someone who's telling you, hello, oh, you would like to make money every day by clicking a button for the rest of your life, right? Okay, well, to have that ability, it's going to cost X amount. I mean, what price do you put on that? It's priceless. And what I wanted to get into about what the masterclass is about, it's not just about the strategies. It's not just about, here, buy this course, and now you're on your own. This is a community where we're all together and everybody's constantly evolving and helping one another out. So today we had a Zoom session, and every day for the past few weeks, lasting up from 2 hours up to 4 hours, constantly looking at the charts and finding the setups and opportunities. People are making crazy money every single day, right? So, it's every week we have webinars on Friday, and it lasts about an hour, hour and a half. Stockwalk is there. I'm there, Forlano, the veteran admin of the team. And you can ask any questions you have. If you don't understand something, we make sure that you understand it. I'm going to go the extra mile personally. I can speak for myself. If someone doesn't understand a strategy, if someone doesn't get something, I put in that extra time to make sure that they get it, right? Because for me, this isn't about money. I have nothing personally to gain by people joining the masterclass. I have zero to gain. If anything, I just work harder. Um, if people can vouch for this in the masterclass, that if someone doesn't understand something, I will literally call them and make sure that they get it, right? And that's time that I'm not getting paid for. It's something that I enjoy doing. It's my passion to see people succeed, because I personally know how much this meant to me in this journey to be successful. You know, how much I wanted this. And I know that there are other people out there who want it just as much, if not more. And so if I see someone showing effort and they need help, I have to help them. It's an itch, right? And I have to scratch it. I have to make sure that they get it. And that's not something that you're going to find easily anywhere. Just doesn't exist. All right. So I was saying that in trading, you need a framework. You need strategies that you apply daily. Okay. You have to be doing the same thing every day. And another thing is that when we don't have setups, when we don't have the necessary knowledge, we end up doing the same thing over and over and over again. All right, and let's revisit the definition of insanity. Definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. All right, and I think that's what most traders do, and that's why they failed. And it's sad because they'll do it enough times, they'll get beaten, and then eventually they quit. And it pains me to see people who really want this in life, in their life, and then quit, because the opportunities are endless. Every day I come to the market, and within an hour and a half, I see 6, 7 to 10 different opportunities with over 75 to 80% accuracy. You know, and that's priceless. The next thing that I want to share is that it's like, you know, people ask, how long is it going to take for me to be successful if I get the masterclass? Or what is the percentage of people who are in the masterclass? What percentage of them are successful? And this is a hard question to answer because it's not just about setups. And I think a lot of people focus so much on it, like as if it's a magic pill that you're going to take, like a steroid, and suddenly you're going to be fit and built. You could have literally the best health coach in the world who worked in the Olympics. You can have him come over your house every day, tell you what to eat, tell you what you're supposed to do, how you're supposed to work out, show you all the techniques, and you still end up having that chocolate cake at night when he walks out the house. Right. So you also have a responsibility towards your success. It's also in your hands. Because if someone tells you these are the steps you have to take, you have to do A, B, C, D, and then you only do A and B, and you don't have the result that you want, that's not the trainer's fault. That's not the course's fault. That's on you. And that comes down to discipline and control of your emotions, all right, and your psychological state that you're in. So when it comes to being successful as a trader, it's not just enough to have the strategies and the setups. You also have to put in the work, right? You also have to make sure that you're following the rules, right? Otherwise, the rules are pointless. You know, there are some people who sometimes join, they have the setups, but they don't do the setup. And then they ask, well, why did I lose money? Because you didn't do the setup. Because there are 4 pieces of criteria for this setup, and you only checked 2 of them, right? So that comes down to, you know, your personal performance as well. So in a nutshell, it's not a magic pill, but it's a framework that if you properly use it and execute it, you will be successful. There's no doubt in my mind about it. It's impossible to blow your account by doing masterclass strategies. It's impossible. And that's a fact. It's just not possible because the statistics are there. The statistical significance on these setups is incredibly high. There's just no way that you would blow up. Because if you keep moving forward, you're always going to move into the green. You're always going to keep growing. And that's why I've been green for over 35 days. All right, it's not magic. I'm not a wizard. I'm just a guy who's following certain strategies and setups without fail daily. All right, so every day is a repetition. It's a repeat of the previous day. All right, so now that we went through that and clarified that, I would like to take some questions from you and see if I can help you out. So let's see what we have. I do algorithm trading. Do you think if I join a masterclass, it can help me improve my bot? Well, yes, most most likely, yes. You would, definitely calibrate your bot to find the right setups. Why is it so expensive? It's not. Platform is the main question you have. The platform is irrelevant. The realities and the science behind price action movement is the same regardless what platform you have. It's really not, they don't go hand in hand, masterclass and the platform you have. It's doesn't matter. That's your own preference, isn't it? KURA is moving nicely. Sorry, guys. Got to take a partial here. Actually, this is a trade that I called out on Zoom and in the free section. 37.3 partial. Nice. I mean, if you see the chart here on KURA, this spike that we're experiencing right now, is that a magic trick? Is it wizardry? No, it's just a masterclass setup. And it worked. I mean, the statistics are there. I see a lot of signals in the free chat room in the morning, but there are also signals in the afternoon. Yes. So when you join a masterclass, you have access to the masterclass community, right? And there we have traders who are literally finding setups from market open to market close. So there are definitely a lot of opportunities constantly. And I think that one of the most powerful things that I actually forgot to mention is being able to be around a group where everybody's looking for the same thing, right? We're all in the same frame of mind. We're all looking for the same exact setups. As you know, the setups, they're named in the fashion of SL1, SL2, SL3. So if you are in the masterclass, you'll see a message from somebody saying KODK SL1. And the moment you see that, you know exactly what you're supposed to do, where you're going to be entering, how you're going to be handling that trade because you know the SL1 setup, right? And so that's powerful when you have thousands of people who are calling out different trades, SL3 here, SL15 there, and you know exactly what to do. The potential opportunities are endless throughout the day. I mean, all in all, I would say there are possibly 60, 70 different trades you can take a day. And of course, you don't need to take that many. We don't need that many to be consistent. You only really need 2 to 3 R per day as a trader to be consistent. If you don't know what R's are, you should definitely check that and Google it, what a risk unit is. So yeah, the opportunities continue throughout the day. But something that I also want to mention, because you asked about signals, the key point of joining the masterclass or any education, because I want to make a clear disclaimer, this is not a sales pitch. I don't have to sell. I just want to help people. All right. So what you got to understand is it's not about taking signals. It's not about taking alerts. It's about being in a position where you can find opportunities on your own, right? That's what matters. That's what's important. Being self-sufficient. Do you really want to depend on other people typing on their keyboard so that you can then plug that into your order? Your trade manager. You don't want to depend on anybody. You want to be your own boss. And that's why we became traders. That's why we're doing this job, so that we can be our own boss. And so when you have the right education, you're able to see opportunities on your own. And full disclaimer, before I joined the masterclass and I thought of joining it, I was very excited about the prospect of, if I join the masterclass, now I get to have even more stock lock alerts. And then after joining, I realized, well, hold on a minute. I can see setups everywhere. I am stock lock. I can make my own stock lock alerts. And that's what's beautiful about it. When you join, you're able to actually find opportunities on your own. You're looking at your charts and you're saying SL15, SL3, SL1. Wow, I can see all these trades now. And that, nothing can beat that feeling of knowing that you can feed yourself with the knowledge that you have and you don't rely or depend on anybody. All right, so that's priceless. And that's why it's priced where it is, and it should be more. Okay, because you have the ability to fish for yourself. If I want to make $500 to 1,000 per day, how much capital do we need? If you want to make 500 to 1,000 per day, you want to be risking 1 to 2% of your account, right? So if you've got a $4,000 account, a buffer, then you want to be risking $40 to $80 per trade. You're looking for 2 to 3 R per day. So if you're risking 40, you want to make an aim for around 80 to 120 per day. So just do the math on your own. I'm not going to pull out my calculator now. Yeah, the masterclass is 997 currently. It may increase in the near future. Currently, you can take advantage of the promotional offer, which is 997. Just reach out, send me a DM, and I'll set you up. Guys, on Sunday, Bags was clarifying a setup with me online. This is the kind of guy he is. Thank you, Ralph. I do remember that. Yeah, I'm always around. I'm incredibly passionate about what we're doing here, because this is like giving people true freedom. I mean, what could be better in life than helping other people attain freedom, right? Living life on your own terms. And I think that's the most important thing here. It's not about the money. It's about actually helping people in life. Maybe I'm crazy, but I'm old fashioned. That's what makes me feel alive, is helping other people, spending 10 minutes with some guy. And then after him telling me, wow, thank you so much. I can see it all now. And it makes perfect sense. That literally makes my day. Right? That's what gives me happiness. I mean, the other day, someone took a trade alert. They took a trade that I alerted and made literally $27,000 in a few minutes. That made my month, not just my day, that made my month. So if members are succeeding, it's as if I'm succeeding, and it's just as good, the feeling. In the masterclass, do you explain trading the orders? I see in some YouTube videos, sometimes SL average is up, takes possible reacts, puts in real limit orders. Right, trading the orders. There are certain things that come with experience. So when it comes to adding, it's an art, right? When it comes to adding, averaging, all these things, that's an art, and it's something that you gain over time. You're not going to become a professional trader overnight. But what you do need is the framework and the right setup so that you can actually start making money and start being consistently profitable. After that, you can start doing, the special tricks of adding here and there. But if you're aiming for a specific amount per day, you don't have to be adding. I haven't added once today. All right, I know that I'm risking $100 per trade. I'm taking the setup. There's my stop loss. There's my target, and I'm waiting for one or the other. All right, there's no need in reality to be adding or averaging. That comes with experience, and especially when you have a much larger account, you can start doing things like that. But it's not necessary to be profitable. With a masterclass, does it teach you everything you need from zero? Someone asked me the other day, is it good if I don't know anything? And my response was, and again, will be that I prefer if people come to us knowing nothing, right? You're like the ideal, perfect. In fact, you are so lucky to even be here right now if you don't know anything and you're here. because I wish that when I didn't know anything, I was here with this opportunity. Because what happens when you try to figure things out on your own is that you start to build bad habits. And that happens over time of trying to figure things out on your own. You have to blow 10 accounts before you can finally say that, okay, I feel like I know what to do now. I'm being consistent. Some people never reach that point. They keep blowing account after account, and then they just say, screw this, I quit. Right? So to be here without having built bad habits is a blessing. You're going to learn exactly what you need to do every day to be consistently profitable. Right? You don't have to be a scientist. You don't have to be, some financial advisor or come from some background in economics. You just need to be able to have sight, vision. It would be preferable if you have 20/20 vision. Look at your charts, see the candle arrangement, and be able to spot what we're teaching in the setup videos. That's it. Right? My mother could trade. In fact, I taught her one of the setups, and she totally understands it within 10 minutes. And she doesn't know anything about trading or the stock market. It was the SL15, actually, Stock Lock's favorite strategy. It took 10 minutes, and my mother, who knows nothing about this, understood it. And after 10 minutes of teaching it, I asked her, okay, well, look at this chart. Can you find the SL15? And she just pointed it out. There it is. That's all you need to make money. You just have to be able to spot the setups. Yes, the discounted masterclass is still there. To Matt, how did I unlearn my bad habits? Just seeing how powerful the setups are, it made me realize that I don't need to do anything else. I need to literally set it and forget it, right? So I'm sitting back every day. Everyone on Zoom can see that me and Stocklock are sitting back on our hands, and we're waiting for setups to appear. And we do nothing in between. So once it appears, we set up our order, we have our stop loss, we have our target, we're risking a defined amount on that trade. And then once we're filled, we just wait for our target to arrive. How do I have the ability to wait for my target to arrive? Because I've seen thousands of times by now that the setup works more times than it doesn't. And in trading, that's all you need. You need an edge. You need to know that what you're doing has at least 70% accuracy success. And once you've seen something work enough times, it's hard not to just do it and believe in it, right? So my confidence on the setups is through the roof. And so I've completely forgotten everything else that I knew before joining the masterclass. I just threw it away in the trash because it's not needed. All you need is literally the setup, what you're taught. And I really wish I could show some examples right now of how simple the strategies are and what I took today, but I can't go into detail with the strategies. But it's like riding a bicycle. It's incredibly easy. The hard part is sticking to your rules. So once you can break through that whole like barrier and discipline, then it's just free sailing from there, from that point onwards. That's the most difficult part in trading is discipline. It's sticking to the rules and just following them. Not doing any tweaks, not breaking them in your own little way, or entering something before it actually triggers. Some people do that. Even though you have this setup, you know that your trigger is long above 37.6. Once it gets to 37.5, some people start buying it. And it just makes you wonder, well, why would you do that? Why would you assume that it's going to trigger? So if you can not do those things, then it's impossible not to make it work. So it's seeing things work enough times that has helped me just stick to the setups only. And it's also having been beaten multiple times. There comes a point in every trader's career where you're beaten and you're slapped around so many times by the market that you've just had enough. You just raise your hand to say, I submit to setups, I submit to rules. I will do it the slow way because you've been beaten so badly. And I have, trust me, a lot. And so you reach a breaking point where you say, from now on, I'm just doing the setup, nothing else. That's it. If it's not a setup, there's no trade, right? So you got to find your rock bottom, if that makes sense. What's your cumulative return percentage in the past 10 years? I haven't been trading for 10 years. I've been trading for 4.5. How much did you make this year? It's irrelevant. All right, let me start up here. We have a lot of questions. Bags, can you explain about your mental roller coasters, times you felt like giving up, but again, start working on trading? I'll tell you one thing. If you don't want something bad enough, you're going to quit. See, for me, what kept me going, because I have failed a lot. I'm not ashamed to say it because I'm doing great right now. But I have failed a lot. I mean, a lot. And how am I still here? How do I still have the strength to wake up each day, even though I failed the previous day, to keep going at it? It's because there's no other option. I had no other option. This was it. It was either going to work or, not trying to be dramatic, but I would die trying. So there's two options. It either works, I either make it, or I'm going to die trying. I just decided that there is no plan B for me. And so knowing that and just deciding it's going to work and believing that it will work, eventually it will. If you've decided and believed and convinced yourself that it will work, that gives you the strength to keep going. I've blown over 8 accounts, probably 10 in my history of trading. So a lot of people would have quit by now. But the reason I didn't quit is because, quite simply, this has to work. Because I want this to work and I've decided it's going to work. I mean, before I even knew what a candlestick was, I already decided this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make this work. I'm going to be great at it without even knowing anything. I just decided it. And so even when you're getting beat by the market, it doesn't really matter because you're going to bounce back. You have to. There's no other option. I hope that makes sense, Uvindu. Tyler, send me a direct message in Discord and I'll send you the link for the discount. No, there is no payment plan. I understand if it's a lot of money. I also had to save back in the day. Do I take partial profits at 0.5R? Yes. Either 0.5R or I try to get as close as possible to 1R, and then I set the rest to break even stop. Then I aim for 2 to 3R on the rest. And sometimes along the way, after I've taken a partial, I see a new setup and I can add to my trade. And then my stop loss is adjusted and all of that. So actually my favorite situation that you can have is where you're in a trade, you take a partial at 1R, it doesn't hit break even, you take another partial at 2R, and then you have a whole new setup from the masterclass to enter and add even more. And then when you add, you can add a lot because your entry is in such a great position. And so now you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. That's something that I was teaching over on Zoom 2 weeks ago with some of the members over the weekend. Situations where you can do that. And so you add on a trade and your stop loss is your new average. And so you've got nothing to lose, but everything to gain if you have continuation. And you'll see a lot of times in my alerts that I put out in the alerts only channel that I'm adding above here, right? So I'm already in from before and I'm going to add on this new trigger. Is the masterclass individual based or is it going to be a larger group? It is a large group. I don't know the exact number of members that we have, but it's a lot. So you have access to the masterclass general chat, and you have nightly webinars. It really is like a family, guys. It's amazing, actually. It's beautiful. Every night at 9 p.m. Eastern time, there's a Zoom webinar, which our study coordinator puts together, Carlos. And I believe he might be in here in this Zoom. And every day at 9 p.m., members get together, they join the Zoom, and they talk about their trades they took that day, the setups they took, or a setup they don't understand, and they all go over it and work with each other. It really is like a brotherhood. I mean, everybody's helping one another out. And so, you're never really left behind. And I think that's the most important thing. With other courses, you buy the course and then it's like, hey, good luck. Now you're on your own. You got the course. What do you want from me? What else do you want? Whereas here, there's constant interaction. We have webinars nightly and every week on Friday. And we also have Zoom live trading that we did today as well, from the moment market opens until 2.5 hours in, because by that point we already had so many opportunities. You don't have to keep trading, but you can learn a lot. The learning experience never ends here, and that's what makes it different from everything else that's out there. What should I do if I have a big loss day, in your opinion? Take a couple days rest. Rest alone is not going to save you from having a bad day again. You have to understand why you lost. And if you're losing consistently, then you need to really consider the education. You have to understand that you're not following things that have high probability of success. When you're taking a trade, you want to take a trade because you know that you have at least 75% chance that it's going to work out. Otherwise, you're on a treadmill. You move forward 2 inches, you pull back 2 inches, and you just never end up anywhere. So definitely reflect on your trading. Masterclass, hands down, best investment I've ever made in myself. Returned at least 40x my investment. That's beautiful, Solo Dolo. I use Colmex. You can use Colmex from India, I believe. How long is the class? It's over 9 hours of lessons. And then we also have the webinars, which are about 1 hour to 2 hours each week. And these webinars are uploaded onto the Educational Center. So you have access to all the webinars. So if you have a day job or something like that, you can always go back and watch the webinars that were put out that day on Friday. Please stop asking me how much I made this year. I'm not going to tell you. PU, believe it or not, why are we offering a masterclass? Why are we doing what we're doing? Believe it or not, there are people still on this planet. Our species does exist who like seeing other people succeed and don't just want fortune for themselves. It does exist. So if you didn't know that, newsflash, we definitely exist. I'm excited helping people personally. I can only speak for myself. It's one thing being in your room alone trading. It's another thing to have a whole community behind you, which you're all doing the same thing, and it's fun. And we're all happy when things are working out, which they are pretty much all the time. It's a great feeling. Nothing really can beat that. Are the strategies and setups effective for trading options or just for buying stocks? You can apply them to options as well. The same concept does apply, yes. In fact, StockBlock does do options sometimes, but there is no course at the moment. Guys, again, if you are interested in the link, please send me a direct message in the Discord. I can send you the link in the Discord. Arnold, you're asking a lot of personal questions here. Am I married? No, I'm not married. As I said, the masterclass concepts can be applied to options trading, but it is not included in the masterclass. There is no masterclass for options trading. Do we have any more questions from you guys? I just want to say that it's scary to imagine a life without having the setups that we're using. I don't know what I would do. When you don't have setups, when you don't have a strategy that you're applying nonstop, you're very reactive to what you're seeing in that moment happening. You're not really able to plan. And that's the edge that we have. It's where we're looking at a stock for an entry, and no one would have imagined that we would be entering there. In fact, they would have been entering maybe 10 minutes later than where we're entering, because they rely on what they're seeing in that moment, if that makes sense. You must have heard people say, this stock looks like it's going up, or a lot of people are alerting, look, it's flying. By the time the mortal standard trader sees something happening, it's too late, and there's already the smart money, which was in before, right? So it doesn't really matter how things look. That's too late. That information is far too late. By the time you're in a trade because of how something looks, it's too late. It's already gone the distance that it's supposed to go. That's really profound. I hope that makes sense. A lot of traders look at something, it's going up, and they think that, oh, look, it looks like it's breaking out. It looks like it's going up. But we already entered the trade far before. So if you're just trading based on reacting to what you're seeing in that moment, you're going to end up losing a lot, because when something looks like it's going up, it's about 2 or 3 or 5 seconds away from pulling back again. And that's how you end up in this cycle of hell of entering a trade. You're instantly red. You don't know why you really entered it or where your stop is, but you close it because you're panicked, because you know that you didn't do anything that was actually an official setup. And so you're losing money nonstop. And then you do it again. And then it starts to go up again, and you start to buy it. And then it pulls back again, and you don't know what you're doing. It's like you're chasing your tail. And that's because you don't have setups that are accurate, because you don't really know what you're doing. And the difficult thing about the market is not knowing what you don't know. And another difficult thing with the market is that it's going to reward you for doing the wrong things. And it's going to give you a treat for doing the wrong thing. And then you're going to think, oh, I did something correct. You're going to try it again, and you're going to lose. And you're going to try it again, you're going to lose. And that's going to keep happening forever, right? So you might as well just decide, I actually want this to work. I actually want a better life for myself, my family. And so I'm going to do what it takes to have the knowledge that I need to be successful consistently, because that's what it's about, consistency. I don't care if you make $500 today. Can you do it tomorrow? Can you do it the day after, and the day after, and the day after, over and over and over? Can you do it? If you can't, then that means that something's missing. There's a piece of the puzzle. There's a piece to the puzzle out there that you don't know, right? And you need that piece. It's super important. So for me, I spent 3.5 years trying to figure things out on my own, and I learned a lot, right? I discovered trend lines on my own. I didn't know it was a thing. I discovered support and resistance on my own. Again, I didn't know it was actually a common thing people knew about, because I was just on charts trying to figure it out with my own brain. but it wasn't enough because there was no framework. So just because you know things, it doesn't mean that you're able to be consistently profitable. You need all of that knowledge to be linked together so that you can apply it in a way that's going to give you an edge and high probability in the market on a daily basis. You have to link those pieces of knowledge. And so, yeah, I knew a lot of things, and I'm sure a lot of you also know a lot of things, but you have to link those things together. And without the proper education and setups, that's not possible. I really hope that you listen to what I'm saying. I literally have nothing to gain by sitting here right now. I legit want to help people, as hard as that might seem to be. It's the truth. Do the strategies work in Forex as well? They've been designed for the markets, for the US markets. They do apply unofficially, I'll tell you that, but they have been designed for the market, for the US market. Advice for an intermediate level trader in the process of becoming profitable and consistent. Um, I'm going to assume that you have a system that you have found and that you're applying on a daily basis without fail. That's the first thing. If you're finding yourself reinventing things every day or every week, or if you have a bad day and then you decide that you have to change it, okay, great. You want to, one of the tips is always risking what you can afford to lose. It's something that I say every day to the team like a mantra. You know, every day you have to risk what you can afford to lose and stick to that risk unit nonstop and set certain limits on yourself. Great, you have your risk unit, fantastic. So you have to set on yourself, what is the max gain I'm going to take per day? What am I happy with? And at what point am I going to walk away? Right. So you don't want to find yourself in a vicious loop of trying to fix the day if you have three bad trades and then end up losing 6R or 10R. Right. You have to be able to walk away with a loss and understand that that's just part of the game. It's a numbers game. And in the long run, as long as you're doing the right things, you will be successful. So you're going to come back the next day, attack the market, and make your money. So don't try to do revenge trading. That's one of the most important things. If you can walk away from losses, that's fantastic. I mean, I don't really, sounds like you know what you're doing, right? So best of luck with that. Are the nightly webinars recorded? I live in Europe. From my knowledge, they're not, but those on Fridays are where Stockwalk attends and I attend. And so you can understand just how crazy I am about trading. When they do the nightly webinars, sometimes I'm there, and that's 4 a.m. local time. So there's times that at 4 a.m., after having an entire day in the market, alerting tens of trades and being on Zoom, still attending, right? That's passion. And I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but if you don't have passion, you're not going to make it. I'm not trying to deter anyone, make anyone upset or give up, but you have to have passion in anything you do in life, right? So you have to make sure that you have passion with this. And that's not something that you can really learn. You have it or you don't. You really want this to work or you don't. Or you just, I just want to make some money on the side. If you're like that, then you're not going to be as effective as a trader. Does Colmex have insurance? I don't know exactly what you mean. I can't help you. I don't work for Colmex. You can reach out and ask them. I'm sure they'll be happy to answer your question. Right now, I can't pronounce your name, um, Wakas. Right now, we're in the works of deciding how we're going to move forward with the Zooms. We may be offering it to members under some circumstances. We will see. It's still in the works. We haven't decided how we're gonna move forward. But for now, in the masterclass, we're doing the Zoom webinars and the Zoom trading for the past 2 weeks or so now. And I believe we will continue for the rest of December. Okay. Anjali, much love to you as well. I wish you the best in your life and good fortune and health. May you someday see the light. You got to remember, success is not for everyone. People who speak like that, definitely not going to make it. You said each strategy has strict rules. How complicated are they to understand, considering some of us are new to trading? Can you give me any generic examples of the type of things that the rules say? Um, give an example, but without actually using the rules. That's going to be difficult to do. Um, some criteria is, for example, how it looks on the daily chart, right? How a stock is looking on the daily chart. That might be one of the criteria. Um, I can't go into specifics of what you're supposed to be looking for on the daily chart, but it's very easy. It is not difficult. You're not going to have 10,000 different criteria for each setup. It's 3 to 4 different criteria. That's very easy to spot out and see. Do you trade afternoon sessions? Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes we do trade in the afternoon. There are setups that are for the afternoon, like the SL3. That's something that pops up usually in the afternoon. So there are different setups for all kinds of traders. There are some people who want to trade the market open, some people who want to trade in the afternoon, some who like quicker moves, others who are more comfortable with a trade that might take 30 minutes. So we have strategies for all walks of traders. I don't understand your question. The alerts are good, but you'll not be able to take them all. You can't take all of them. Can you give a solution? Well, a solution is, as I said, that you're not supposed to rely on alerts, guys. This is for people who actually want to become good traders on their own, right? You want to be able to find opportunities in their own and not have to rely on somebody giving you alerts. Um, I don't really know what to answer to that. Uh, the alerts are very good. Yesterday I put out, what was it, 9 alerts, 8 winners, something like that, 7 winners out of 9. The accuracy that we have here is incredible, and that's because we're using these strategies nonstop, right? And they hold statistical significance. Um, so it's important for you to understand why we're alerting what we're alerting. I can't help with PDT restrictions. Which state are you located at? I'm located in Athens, Greece, originally from Florida. You don't. How do you know? I mean, how do you know if you're going to get a loser? You don't. That's something else that I wanted to mention, that if you're going to be a trader, you have to be acceptant of the risks. There's no such thing as 100% accuracy, and there's no such thing as entering a trade and knowing that it's going to work. And that is a discomfort that you have to become comfortable with, right? One of the keys of being a trader is being comfortable with being uncomfortable and understanding that it's never going to change. It's never going to be you enter a trade and you know it's going to work. You're never going to have that. It doesn't exist. So you have to be able to enter a trade knowing that it might not work and being okay with that outcome. What's the riskiest trading decision you have ever made? I don't know how to answer that. I don't take the riskiest trading decisions. We have our risk units, we have what we're risking per trade, and we do that nonstop. So for each trade you take, you know that worst case scenario, you're going to lose X amount. I'm not sure what you're referring to, sorry. Perhaps my riskiest trading decision was being a trader. That was the riskiest decision I had to make. Deciding to be a trader, going against all odds, even though statistics are against me, stacked up, that 95% of the people out there failed, and deciding that I'm still going to do this and I'm going to go all in, basically. So with trading, I went all in. I decided I'm going to make this work. And it took great sacrifice. So that was the riskiest decision. Well, Gus, I don't know how we're going to move forward with the Zooms. At the moment, we are offering it to masterclass students daily for the rest of December. Moving forward, I don't know what we're going to do next. I will keep you updated. I'd like to ask, how much would you suggest for us beginners to take in a trade, being beginners and commissions eating into the small profits as well? How much risk? For me, for it to be a proper, what is the reason you would not do Zoom meetings? I don't know what you're talking about, Chris. To answer your question, to be a proper trader, you need to be able to take partials, right? The whole point of trading is that you want to secure profits. You want to walk away profitable each day, and your chances of walking away profitable increase when you're able to take partials. Unfortunately, if you're risking less than $50 per trade, it's difficult to take partials and still walk away with any kind of significant gain without commissions eating into your profits. And so you're going to need minimum 50 risk per trade in order to be able to fully take advantage of the proper trading behavior that you should have, which is taking partials. If you are trading less than $50 risk per trade, you need to wait for 1R. So if you're risking $30 on a trade, you need to wait until you're up $30. And I suggest just taking all the profits, because there's no point locking in a $7 partial and then get break even, stop, and the rest. After commissions, you're left with maybe $4. So if you're risking less than 50 per trade, wait for 1R to arrive and take your profits. And as you grow your account, you'll be able to then grow your risk per trade, and you can take partials. Chris Anderson, because there is a possibility that we're going to be offering these Zoom meetings for a fee. And so we have not yet decided how we're going to move forward with that. The Zoom meetings, the live trading is a new thing that we've been doing recently. And so for the first month, we're doing it as we are now. I cannot give you any more updates until we have them. Do you trade one setup every day, or do you use multiple? I focus on 2 setups of the 9, because those are the 2 that I like the most personally for my own style. I've mastered them. But if I do see another setup, doesn't mean I won't take it. I might take it. But I'm generally focused on 2 of the strategies of the 9. And to be successful with the strategies, you don't need to take them all, right? You need to really just master 1 or 2 strategies and just focus on those, master them, and then find that consistency. And as you gain comfort, you can then increase your the trades that you're taking. What strategies do you use to evaluate risk? Not sure what you mean. The setups that we're using by definition have high probability. And so I'm risking the same amount per trade. As long as you're taking a textbook setup from the masterclass, the odds are in your favor. So the risk is already worked out just by doing that. And then you just risk the set amount for each trade. That's correct. That's correct, John. I make an average of 10 trades per day. 5 to 10 trades per day. I like your plan. I don't think you're being naive at all. The right thing to do is when you join a masterclass is not to rush and think that, oh, I'm going to get rich overnight now. It's to practice on the demo. So my plan that I always tell people who are interested in joining the masterclass and doing what we're doing is once you buy the course, to spend at least a month on a demo, practicing all the strategies and finding the one that you like most, the two that you really like the most, and then focus on those two strategies, apply them on a demo account, and find your consistency to a point where you're smooth sailing. Okay. And once you find that you're able to be consistent on those two strategies, then you can move to a funded account. So you want to spend that first month training yourself, studying over and over again, looking at examples and charts, finding SL15s from the previous day, SL1s from the previous day, and going through those, back testing them, and practicing, and then move on to a funded account. Don't just jump in and try to make $1 million your first month. So yeah, the value is in the knowledge, right? Knowledge is power, and it's something that nobody can take away from you once you have it. So that knowledge that you have, or you're going to have if you join, is priceless, right? And that's knowledge that can be applied in the future. So even if you're not able to trade right now, you still have that knowledge for when you can. And I think that it's better to, take your time with things to ensure 100% that it's actually going to work out for you in the long run. It's the long run that matters. Longevity is what matters in trading. And so if it takes, instead of 3 months, it takes 6 months, does it really matter? The alerts in the Discord alerts room are legit, right? Or are different from the Zoom live alerts. Why would we give you different alerts than what's in the Zoom? The only difference is that we might not alert all the trades that we're alerting in the Zoom, in the free section, right? So today we've given maybe 4 or 5 different alerts that were not in the alerts only today for the free chat. That's the only difference. I'm not sure what you mean, if they're legit. Guys, anybody with a little bit of effort can look at the alerts only, look at the alerts that we're putting out, the trades that we're putting out every day for the past few weeks and months on end, and see the accuracy. But that takes work, right? Nothing comes easy. Before I joined the masterclass, I did my own research. I went in the alerts only and I was adding up all the alerts and I was putting it in Excel and I was seeing out of all these alerts that StockBlock is putting out, how many of them were successful? How much money would I have made if I risked $50 per trade? And I saw that the answer was thousands per month, just from the free alerts. I realized that the alerts that he's putting out are over 75% accuracy of success, if not 80. Okay, there are days that we have 100% accuracy that I put out 9 alerts and 9 of them are winners. But it takes effort to do that research on your own. It's easy to sit back and say, oh, you guys, you don't know what you're talking about. Are you sure it's real? Is it not? Just use a little bit of common sense and see that it's impossible for it not to be legit. The moment that we're putting this information out in advance before the trade happens, we're giving the trade plan for the future. Like it can't be denied. I mean, the data is put out, right? So just put in a little bit of effort and you'll see that it's legit, that they're accurate. Just look at it. The information's there. Pull up your chart at the end of the day and go through the alerts and just see what happened. Or if that takes a lot of work, you can just go to my Instagram and you can see all the alerts that I put out and what happened. Richard, you can watch. We don't do investments, Trade King, so I can't really help you with that. You can watch the videos over and over again, or as many times you like. You have access to the educational center nonstop whenever you want. You can pause it, rewind it, forward it. You have access for a lifetime. So it's not for a month or for a year. You have lifetime membership to all the educational material. So if you need to re-watch something, if you have to refresh your memory, you can do that. I don't know what legalities you mean, Jay. I'd like to help you, but I'm not sure what you mean. Guys, we will be wrapping this up soon. So if you do have any questions you've been meaning to ask, um, do ask. I'll be happy to help you out. Normally, I stay away from IPOs. I like having historical data in my charts that I'm trading. I'm not familiar with US accounts. I imagine interactive brokers you can try, although I imagine they also have the PDT rule. So I don't know. You would have to look for an offshore broker. Benjamin, thank you for your kind words, brother. Really appreciate it. Trade King, I really don't care about fundamentals in general in the market. I don't care. I'm just looking for the price action setups that I know are going to work, and I take them and we make money, collect the bags, and then we just carry on with our day. I don't do any kind of long-term investment. I don't know where Bitcoin's going. Not really concerned. I see no reason to care about these things. When every day you can come, you can watch 16 stocks at the same time, which is what I'm doing. And we're looking for, the 2, 3 setups that I like taking, and they have 80% accuracy, and I'm risking 100. I know I'm going to make 100, and I do that 5, 6 times, and that's it. I mean, that's all I need. Trade King, as I said, I'm not answering these questions. If you join, then we have the scanner setups for the strategies that we have in the masterclass. So if you're using, for example, TC2000 software, we have the codes for that so that you can scan for the SL15 or for the SL1 or SL3. Those codes are already provided to the masterclass students when they join up. Konstantinos, yes, I speak Greek. Thank you, Socrates. Thanks, Russ, means a lot. All right, guys. So if you're happy with what you see us doing each day in the alerts only, if you are following our track record and you have realized that, hey, these guys, they know something, then understand that we are not wizards. I'm not an economist. I like music, making music. That's my thing. I'm more of an artist than anything else. We're just doing something that has high probability and shows up every day. That's it. There's no wizardry here. So if you see what we're doing each day, and you see that we have 80% plus accuracy, and many days we have 100% accuracy, that's not even normal. We shouldn't be having that kind of accuracy, but we do. If you like that, then trust me when I tell you that with the strategies we're using, you can do the same thing on your own, completely on your own, right? And I would love for somebody to join and after a month come to me and tell me, I can't do it. It's BS. The course is garbage. The strategy doesn't work. I always challenge anybody to do that. It never happens. It just doesn't happen. I've never, in over a year being here, I've never heard that from anyone before. In fact, I always hear the opposite. I wish I listened sooner. Thank you so much. This has changed my life. I'm actually being green. I'm actually making money now. You decide what value you put on that. You decide what value you put on your peace of mind coming to the market each day and knowing you're going to make money, knowing you're going to collect bags, knowing you're going to be profitable. That's powerful. I'll tell you what I hated the most about my trading journey is every day before I joined a masterclass was coming to the market knowing I'm going to lose money, or entering a trade and not knowing where my stop loss is for sure. Not really knowing the official stop loss. Having that sense of anxiety, that sense of panic, that sense of fear, that sense of stress, it's exhausting. And so you decide what value do you put on that completely disappearing. You never have to feel that stress again. You never have to feel uncertain again, right? And that's priceless to me. Okay, so that's just what I wanted to leave you with, is that honestly, that is what I love the most about what we're doing here, is that whole fear, that whole panic, it's gone. It doesn't exist. And that's beautiful because there's so many opportunities every single day to make money. I could open up any of these charts here and find you an opportunity for a potential trade. Just looking for the stock block setups. I mean, it's a joke. right? So if you want that ease to be able to go in and out of trades without feeling fear and knowing exactly what you're looking for and what you're going to do, if you want that confidence, then the masterclass is for you. Otherwise, I still wish you the best of luck. I hope that you make it. I hope you make it work. You've got a long journey ahead of you if you're on your own. I know I did, and still I got nowhere with it. But what can I say? No, I don't use Bollinger Bands. No, I don't need to use Bollinger Bands or any kind of Bollinger Booger. I mean, it's very simple. The strategies we're using, you don't need all of these things. All right. Do we have any last minute questions before I let you go? You think trading will ever die? No, I don't. I believe 15 years from now, I'll still be trading the SL1 and the SL15, making money. All right, guys. So it was a pleasure being with you here tonight. Yeah, it can be applied to all markets, but it's been designed, as I said, for the US markets. I don't want people coming back and saying, oh, it didn't work in the UK market because it wasn't designed for it. Um, but chances are it's going to work. I mean, I've checked it on Bitcoin and the setup still work. Um, so you do that at your own risk. But if you guys have any other questions, you want to reach out to me, you can do that always. Send me a direct message on Discord. I'll do my best to help you out. If you're interested in the promotional price that we have, send me a message. I'll hook you up. Um, the most important thing to understand is that this is a very lonely journey, and joining us, it makes it far less lonely, right? It's like I said, it's a family. Okay, we're here to help each other out, and that's what matters. We pick each other up when we fall, and we move forward together. All right, so if you want to be part of that movement and really change your trading career for the better, there's no better place. Chris, I will get back to you on that. It's not the place. I will help you out with that. All right. Okay, guys. So I'll see you tomorrow. We're going to do it again. Today was a fantastic day. Let me check. Up $428. All is well moving forward. My goal 1 year ago was $50 per day. I'm able to make $400 at ease, just like that. That's insane. All right. So if you want that, there is no better place. All right. So if you have any questions, reach out. I'll help you out. Have a good evening, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow. Ciao.